Would you mind sharing that a little bit? Because I think it's interesting.
Yeah, so with doing functional medicine, we draw patients of all sorts. We do a lot of very sick patients. So we deal with cancer patients, Lyme disease. I've worked on HIV patients, just so many different types of patients. So I had a patient who had, by the time he came to me, he was stage 4 prostate cancer that had metastasized very aggressively to his bones. And he was to the point to where he really couldn't get to my office anymore. So I did, I don't know how many house calls. I would go out to his house and work on him with different therapies I have. And this was before I knew about the PEMF therapy through Pulse centers, and just got to be really good friends with his family because I was over there at his house often. And unfortunately, he did pass away probably 6 to 8 months after he had come to see me. But I noticed one of the thing he had in his room, he had this, this blue bed looking like contraption in his living room that his wife said he loved to use this because it was the only thing that helped his pain. And when you have metastatic bone cancer, it's very, very painful. And he loved using the pulse magnetic bed. I didn't know what it was at the time because that was what gave him relief. And so after he had passed, his wife actually became a patient of mine. She wasn't at the time, but she became a patient of mine. She goes, "Doc, I have something I think I want to give you." And I said, "What's that?" And she goes, "Oh, it's one of the things that seemed to really help Jim during his cancer." And she goes, "I'm just going to drop it off sometime." I had no idea what she was really talking about. And about a month later, she comes into my waiting room and she's carrying this huge bag and wheels this like looks like a computerized device in my waiting room. And here what was a full XL Pro Pulse Centers PEMF machine with all the accessories. And I was seeing patients at the time, and my staff came out and said, "What do we do with all this stuff? You had so-and-so drop it off." And I said, "Well, let's put it back here in this one room." I had no idea what it was. So then I got the book out and started reading up on it. I said, "Oh, okay, this is a pulse magnetic machine." And I've known about them. I've seen them in articles. I've seen them in magazines. The chiropractic journals will see advertisements for them. So that's when I called you, I believe, and you got me involved with some online training. And then I eventually flew down to Atlanta to do the more advanced training and just got to be very knowledgeable on the power of this machine. And so and then when I saw the price of these things, I thought, what this lady did, what this patient did for me was just, one of the greatest gifts in the world I've ever received. And I was just dumbfounded, and she's a patient to this day. Her whole family comes and sees me now. And what a blessing though. And so, 2 units later, we're maxed out. We have no more place for pulse machines. I might have to find a bigger building at some point because I do have 2 more doctors with me now. So we're kind of busting at the seams, but it is one of my go-to therapies for my problematic patients.